Is there any point in stretching? I'm busy. I'm going to the gym. I don't have time for stretching.
You go to the gym, you only got a certain amount of time. You want to get your maximum value for the time. You want to bulk up, get shredded, ripped. Do you need to stretch? Is it worth it? Okay, stick around. We're going to tell you what the science says about stretching.
Welcome to Talking with Docs. I'm Dr. Brad Winning.
And I'm Dr. Paul Zalza.
Okay, here we go. Right out the gate, we got some scientific articles that talk about stretching and its benefits. Intuitively think, okay, stretching kind of makes sense. You kind of lengthen your muscles, loosen them up a bit, reduce your injuries, stuff like that. But we're not talking about injuries even necessarily. We're talking about death.
Yeah, all-cause mortality is a nicer way to say death.
Okay.
But we're going to look at the science, okay? And we've got two journal articles that are pretty recent, 2020, 2023. One's in BMC, Public Health, which stands for
Biomed Central.
And the other one is in the American College of Sports Medicine.
Okay.
Reputable journals. We've crossed the pond. We've gone to either ends of the world to try and figure out if it's worth stretching.
Okay.
Turns out that when you look at subtypes of exercise, aerobic, muscle strengthening, and stretching, which some people might say is not even an exercise. Some people would say that's yoga.
Right.
They compared in these articles what the effects are on your all-cause mortality or your cardiovascular mortality. Okay, let's look at the obvious ones. Okay, so we know that exercise, strength training, or aerobic exercises helps you live longer. And helps your mental health.
We talk about this all the time.
Okay.
Do something.
That's a truth. That's a truism. It's proven in the science. It's proven in the literature.
Non-negotiable.
Don't argue that one.
Okay.
But now, can just sitting there and doing some stretching help? So for vigorous activity, if you look at all-cause mortality, or these guys did in these articles, the hazard ratio was about 0.82.
Okay.
So that's about an 18% improvement in all-cause mortality. That's just 1 minus 0.82 times 100%. Right? It's about 18% reduction in all-cause mortality. For vigorous activity, for cardiovascular mortality, the hazard ratio is about 0.55, they found. So like a 45% chance improvement.
Significant number.
Of not dying if you do from a heart attack, if you do vigorous activity. Even strength training, okay? Strength training had a hazard ratio of 0.83.
All right.
Okay, so that's a 17% chance reduction in your chance of dying.
You're really dropping the numbers early this
morning.
morning.
I'm just saying, because I want to compare stretching to it. And the strength training, that didn't even affect cardiovascular mortality.
Right.
All right, which makes sense, right? Because the cardiovascular mortality, you think you got to get the heart going, do some aerobic work.
Right.
Stretching alone has a hazard ratio of 0.8 for all-cause mortality and even 0.75 for cardiovascular mortality.
So 20 and 25% reductions in all-cause mortality and cardiovascular risk with just stretching.
Just stretching.
Okay. Did they talk about how long we're stretching or what kind of stretches, or it was heterogeneous probably?
No, they talked about stretching, and they went for like days of the week, and they said 5 or more days of the week.
Okay. And that's what we talk about too, right? Smaller periods of activity on a more regular basis.
Yeah, and they compared that to 0 days of the week.
Okay.
So as we put it in scientific terms, the couch potato.
Yeah, and this is kind of intuitive. Again, makes sense, and we've talked about this lots before, and that's maybe why people that do calisthenics and people that do things like Tai Chi, which is almost like a type of stretching, or yoga. I think yoga people would tell you, yoga is much more than stretching though. Yoga is very, very hard. It's not just lying on the floor trying to touch your toes. It's like planks and all sorts of other crazy stuff. It is difficult.
It's a whole mindset.
Yeah. For sure. But I think the benefits, like you said, are the physical and the mental and doing it. And I even read another article where they compared essentially the negative effects of doing nothing, like totally being inactive, versus being inactive plus stretching. And the stretching was almost able to completely counteract the inactivity stuff. So kind of to your point.
Right? So you're at the gym and you're wondering if I should do my stretching, and you should. And it's kind of weird because you're like, well, how could stretching help, especially cardiovascular mortality? And I guess they postulate it has to do with the arterial tree in your body and keeping it subtle and keeping blood flowing just by stretching out. I guess when you're stretching your muscles, you're stretching your
vessels, the nerves, the veins, all of it.
So there you go. If you're hitting the gym like I do on a regular basis, you've probably seen me in there, wandering around. First thing I do is go to the bench press. That's how I remain so bulked up. I'm going to take a little bit more time and do some stretching.
I think it's wise. If you have any experience with stretching or working out or your thoughts on this, leave a comment. Let us know. Share your experience. If you like this video, please like it. Subscribe to our channel.
And if you think this is a stretch, let us know. You are in charge of your own health.
We'll see you next time.